there's no audience, we don't want to sing. And today's, you have a good song today? I hope so. Good song and good voice. So even though we have only a few audience, but we better start. Because Dr. Sun already prepared the presentation. And the topic today is overview of the toxic optic neuropathy. So please get started.
Thank you, Dr. Dong. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Sun, resident doctor. Today I want to talk a little bit about toxic optic neuropathy. This is an angio presentation in a clinical setting, but it's important cause that you need to consider when you approach a patient with a bilateral visual loss. My presentation includes three parts. The first one is overview. Secondly is anti-tuberculosis optic neuropathy, and the last is methanol optic neuropathy. There is a lot of causes of toxic optic neuropathy, include methanol, some antibiotic like linezolid, anti-malaria, anti-tubercular like isoniazid, ethambutol, some anti-arrhythmic agent like digitalis, amiodarone, some anti-cancer drugs, heavy metal, and other substances like carbon monoxide, tobacco, and PDE5 inhibitor. The main mechanism of this diabetes is they acquire mitochondrial neuropathy and the imbalance in intracellular and extracellular free radical homeostasis. The typical clinical features is a bilateral symmetric progressive visual loss, which is often painless. Usually the VA is not beyond 20 hour 400. Include methanol, which often manifests with no perception line. Central and psychocentral scotoma is also a typical finding because the macular bundle is the most bundle be affected by toxic, and this chromatosia is only is a early sign of toxic optic neuropathy, and other symptom and sign is often normal. IPD is normal because the patient has bilateral visual loss. The discs often look normal, sometimes swelling or atrophy later. So this type of optic neuropathy have overlap features with other causes. So this is a diagnosis of exclusion. This is a systemic approach to a patient with a bilateral visual loss. You need to check for history of family, history of the patient disease, and the drug they have, and the lastly, which is the toxic drug. You need to think about these causes to order the right investigation, and the patient will have the right treatment. Here is some investigation you need to do. The MRI to check for, optic neuritis, serum B12 folate to check for nutritional optic neuropathy, and hemogram, OCT or visual field to check the status of the patient. The second part in my presentation is anti-tuberculosis toxic neuropathy. It is the most common cause of toxic optic neuropathy. Anti-tuberculosis include ethambutol, isoniazid, pregabalin, and some other drugs, but the most common cause is ethambutol. Ethambutol is a frontline drug in the treatment of tuberculosis, despite it had a lot of adverse effects. Inside that, the optic neuropathy is the most severe adverse event. The daily dose of patients who have not previously received This regimen is 15 milligram per kilogram. But if the patient have received previous anti-tuberculosis therapy, the doses will raise to 25 milligram per kilogram. And about incidence, ethambutol optic neuropathy occur in less 2% of patients on tuberculosis treatment. But on the long-term treatment, the higher prevalence, 6% reported. So this ethambutol toxicity is a dose and duration dependent. As you can see in this table, which dose was less than 15, the prevalence is less than 1%, but if the dose raised to 25, the prevalence to up to 5 or 6%. The pathophysiology of ethambutol toxicity is ethambutol is a metal chelator with zinc and copper, and zinc and copper is an important factor for the normality of visual tract. So when chelation of copper and zinc will lead to deficiency of zinc and copper and lead to mitochondrial dysfunction and destruction of myelin. Ethambutol use is also associated with deficiency in vitamin E and B1. The typical clinical feature of ethambutol toxicity is a retrobulbar neuritis, which include two types, the central type and the peripheral type. The central type is more common when the central fiber is affected, with present with visual loss, central scotoma, and disc growth matopathy. The peripheral type is less more commonly and present with bitemporal view loss, dyschromatopsia. Dyschromatopsia is an early indicator of ethambutol toxicity, which present earlier than visual acuity or visual field changes. The visual problem generally occur after 2 months of treatment. Exclude with the patient have renal dysfunction, the symptom and sign can occur earlier. Some patients have subclinical toxicity, and you can pick by use contrast testing or OCT. The main management is stop drug immediately and supplemental of zinc, copper, and vitamin. The measure of patient is reversible with the resolution of BA in 3 months. So with the recommendation is all asymptomatic patient should receive monthly screening, and for symptomatic patient, a formal visual field testing and a full optic evaluation is needed. The second drug is isoniazid, but isoniazid optic neuropathy is very rare. So the clinical feature is similar to ethambutol. So if you have a patient with suspicious anti-TB optic neuropathy, you need to stop ethambutol first and consider isoniazid secondly. This guy is a 16 years old male, present with 1 month insidious onset of painless progressive bilateral visual loss. The patient had ATT regimen for 4 months. The VA on presentation is cut the finger at 2 meters on OD and 6 out of 60 on OS. The posterior segment we find optic disc temporal pallor on both sides. On the visual field, the patient had bilateral temporal visual loss and some kind of sign on MRI of optic neuritis. The patient after that of ethambutol for 25 days, and he gave methylprednisolone intravenous for 5 days and multivitamin. And at 5 week follow-up, you can see OD and OS also have the good improvement to 6 out of 10, 6 out of 9. Methanol toxic neuropathy is also a common cause of optic neuropathy, and it's popularly known as a wood alcohol. And the formic acid, which is a metabolic product of methanol, is a toxin responsible for the pathophysiology. CNS symptoms and severe visual loss often occur 12 to 24 hours after methanol consumption, and often the patient complete blindness. The dilated pupil is a significant feature. The disc is often hyperemic or pale. This case, a 50 years old male present with history of sudden painless bilateral loss of vision since 2 days ago. History of alcohol intake for 3 days, followed by episode of dizziness prior to loss of vision. He managed conservatively outside as methanol poisoning for 2 days before presentation. On presentation, he has BCVA of denied perception line and dilated pupil. On the fundus photo, you can see this edema on the both sides. Methanol poisoning treatment is often an emergency setting, and I want to focus on IV prednisolone because it is a potential treatment for this type of toxicity. And usually, the prognosis of methanol poisoning is usually poor. Death may occur due to acute poisoning, and blindness often occur in those who survive. It's a clinical trial with intravenous methylprednisolone in methyl alcohol poisoning. They have 17 patients who have history of alcohol consumption, and after that, the patient will receive intravenous prednisolone 1 gram in 3 days, and after that, oral prednisolone for a period of 40 days. As you can see in this table, we have 17 patients, and the VA at presentation is quite poor. But in VA at 3 months, the patient 16 out of 17 had a visual improvement. Only one patient had no improvement. It is a table demonstrate that the only one patient in 17 patients with methanol poisoning have no improvement. So the management finally is correction of acidosis and intravenous methylprednisolone for ocular therapy. So summary, with toxic optic neuropathy, prevention is the key, with baseline evaluation before starting drug treatment. Early detection can have salvage vision. Third is a stop the offending agent is the only management option and a diagnostic clue. Follow up with testing when on a certain drug can have detect toxicity earlier. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sun, for your presentation. So we have seen the toxic optic neuropathy, and we have 2 examples of the toxic, that is alcohol and also the anti-TB drug. Right? Yes. So is there any question or comment from the audience? Thank you for Dr. Tan, you have been here. And Dr. Cho, we have a very few audience today. So we hope some of us have some comment or some question to share with the speaker. Yeah, need of the trend.
But that you how do you see it in this skill? Good guy, he and Vietnamese is the distinguish between meta ethanol toxic and methanol toxic. Because here we have a lot both toxic. Methanol is very I think that serious disease, the sign and the symptom move very fast, and the patient in concert blinded both eye and methanol. I think more serious, and ethanol it run quite smoothly, and the patient when we lose the vision also, but step by step, day by day, and about the test, in labo might be useful also. Hey, here we have both the yes.
Thank you, Dr. Tung, for your question. As you can see in my slide, you can see 5 ethanol, 10% is a therapeutic for methanol poisoning because ethanol is a antagonist enzyme. They saturate methanol, and when with a patient with methanol poisoning, they administer via nasogastric tube to saturate the methanol. So I don't think ethanol is a potential substance. So.
Normally, for cardiologists, for eye doctor, we usually see the toxic by ethanol, and patient drink alcohol for a long time, and then they have a toxic neuropathy. And methanol usually is an acute toxicity. And you may remember that few months ago, or no, few years ago, there's the emergency in the general hospital, and the people drink a lot of methanol, so they use beer to put inside the nasogastric tube and to rescue the patient. That is story. And
the guy in the building or
yes.
Thanh Hoa, Provincial,
Yeah.
Hospital, they have a beer transfusion.
Yeah.
In the vendor and the kilo.
It's not intravenous.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I like that.
Yeah. But
Introgastric, and the kill the methanol toxic. And how about the probiotics? Methanol, they I think very poor at probiotic methanol, but ethanol is way better. And intermittent making pressure is a good way to deal with that. But how about the copper, acid folic, B12, good to support treatment or only intermittent or only making pressure?
I think B12 for life is a treatment for alcohol amblyopia, not methanol, because in the alcoholism, they often became, they have B12 and folate deficiency, and supplementation of that drug can help the patient with not the methanol.
How about the ethambuton toxic? I have a patient in the first month of treatment tuberculosis. Reason, and they stopped the ethambuton immediately. But the reason I give B12 acid folic copper. Copper here, very hard to get copper to deal with that. I send the patient to the Vietnam hospital, and people say they have they give him some solution in contain copper. Very minimum dose 2 picogram per percent. I believe the patient takes copper and giving him B12, B1, B6, acid folic, and after 3 months, the patient is quite good. 1 year. He got the vision as normal, but I want to ask you, the probiotic when you maintain the treatment for how many months or how many years if the outcome vision is not very good, not good.
As I read in literature, the stop drug immediately is the main treatment for this kind of toxicity, and supplement of zinc or copper or other vitamins is a supplement. It's not a treatment for this poisoning. Stop immediately is the main treatment, not other things. As I read in literature, and I have maybe misleading on this side.
No. I mean, the treatment must be continued within 6 months, 1 year. Yeah. Although the outcome of vision is not good, not improve, you should maintain the treatment within 6 months with Teprrotumumab Efficacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kurz. Is there any question or any comment? You have a feeling that there's still have question for you. So can you come back to the diagnosis? How to the slide you are talking about the diagnosis of the toxic neuropathy. One more slide, I think. Yes, so yes, this one. So that's the clinical feature of toxic optic neuropathy. And you said that there's no rodent sign for the diagnosis, right? And the diagnosis is the patient. So what kind of disease you should explore?
It's can be kind of autoimmune, like ischemic, like nutritional, like alcohol,
So it means that the diagnosis of the toxic optic neuropathy, it seems that it's the last diagnosis.
yeah.
Yes.
If you have the history of anti-TB drugs or
Yeah.
methanol is almost a exclusion.
Yeah. And I think there's some feature of the and quite specific, like a bilateral symmetry and progressive visual loss and no pain, right? So it's very important. And the more important thing I think here that is the history of the patient.
Yeah.
The patient use a drug and the substance it may be toxic to the optic nerve. And for the treatment, you said that we should stop using the drug immediately. But in case the patient was treated with anti-TB, I think it's quite dangerous. We should ask the specialist for that. Should we stop using the anti-TB or not? Because of course the systemic health is more important than the eye health. So I think we should, in case we think the patient had toxic optic neuropathy due to the anti-TB drug, we should refer the patient to the internist and ask them if we can stop using the anti-TB or not. What do you think about that?
As I read is that if the patient you have suspicion of anatomical toxicity, you should stop immediately and change to another drugs like isoniazid, because isoniazid can cause optic neuropathy, but it's quite rare. You can change to other drug in ITT resident. And it is and I think I refer to
It's better ask the patient to come back to see his doctor or the doctor is better. Yes, to have the best for the patient. And for the treatment, you also said you can use the zinc or copper. And what kind of drug can supply the zinc and copper for the patient? Do you have any idea about that? But normally we can have a patient who have ethanol toxicity, and so we have to find. For example, me, I have nothing to give them, just only vitamin B food, and some substance like Tanakan or something like that. But like from your paper, it said that you can supply the patient with cooker. So, do you have any idea about the drug can supply the cooker?
I think in Vietnam we don't have proper supplementation, at least a paper and see
Thank you, Dr. Sen. Is there any question for Dr. Sen? Dr. Tan, please. Can you use the microphone? Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. And I would like to have some comments about the anti-TB toxicity